Hello. Today, I am going to answer a viewer's question that I received this morning in email. How can I find the courage to come to France for an extended period of time? Thank you so much for joining me today. My name is Patricia Brooks, and back in 2018, I found the courage to leave my job and start life anew in France. And it's one of the best decisions I have made. And now I help people who are ready to start the next chapters of their lives, living and thriving in a foreign country, find that grit, that determination, that wherewithal, that courage to do it and do it in a way that feels good. And on this channel, I talk about my life in France, about making a move abroad, and how to find the confidence and courage to live the kind of life you know you were meant to live. And today I'm going to talk about how to find the courage to do the thing that scares you. And in particular, this question that a viewer sent to me. She wrote, "Dear Patricia, I hope that you are doing well. I have been watching some of your videos and would like to know how to get the courage to come to France for an extended period of time." And the email doesn't say much more than that, so I don't have a lot of information or a lot of details, which left me thinking, well, I need more information to be able to even give you any suggestions. But I thought, okay, well, this might be good to unpack in a YouTube video. Now, I did a webinar with Adrian Leeds back in the summer, and if you haven't watched that, you can go ahead and check it out. I'll put a link to that in the description or overhead. You can click on the link and watch that later. Today, I'm going to work to unpack this question and help this person understand what it takes to move through fears and doubts so that she can live this dream that she's had for some time. Okay. I think it's first important to understand what courage is. Merriam-Webster defines courage as the mental or moral strength to venture, persevere, and withstand danger, difficulty, or fear. And I like that definition because it talks about not only having the mental strength, but also you might need to have moral strength. And I think to understand that a little bit better, sometimes we lack courage, or we lack courage. I'm going to be definitive here. We lack courage because we have time to think about the thing that we want to do. And we have time to think about all of the what ifs. What if I do this thing and I hate it? What if I do this thing and I lose friends over it? What if I do this thing and I fail? Right? Whatever failing means to you. What if I do this thing and I succeed? What will that mean for my life, and how will my life change? And, all of the uncertainties that go with success. So I think that we lack courage because we have too much time to think, and we have thought about these things over and over, and they have started to be a track in our mind that causes us to want something but be afraid to do it, to lack the courage to do it. But on the other hand, sometimes some of the things that we don't have the courage to do come because we don't have the moral strength to do it. And I want to give you an example of this. We don't have the moral strength to do it. That means that probably outside influences are weighing on us, and we're afraid of not being accepted in our society or a group that we belong to that's important to us on many different levels. As humans, we are a gregarious group. We don't want to be isolated or alone. But it also stems back to caveman days when there were very real physical threats to our safety, and there was strength in numbers. And so if you were an outcast, if you were not a part of the group, if you got kicked out of the group, that could mean that you could die because you didn't have the strength of the community. So it really is deeply rooted for us to want to feel like we belong and go along to get along. And sometimes we do that even when it is maybe against our moral compass because, well, we want to be a part of the group. We want to be safe. So for me, this reared its head when I was in 5th grade. And I didn't think I was doing anything special or spectacular. But my mom, who was a teacher, went into the parent-teacher conference with my 5th grade teacher. And she came home and she was glowing. And she came home, she gave me this big hug. She was so proud of me. And I was like, what did I do? And she said, oh, I met with your teacher. And she told me how you are friends with this girl, and I'll call her Michelle, and that nobody else is friendly with her. And I thought, okay, well, what's so special about that? You know, I like Michelle. Michelle and I have things in common. So we spend time on the playground together. And she's like, yeah, but you don't understand. Nobody else wants to spend time with her. And so by you being with her and being her friend could put you in a situation where other people would not want to be your friend. And that is just not the normal thing to do. And I thought, oh, okay, but I like her, right? For me, this wasn't an act of courage. This was I just wanted to be Michelle's friend. But this kind of points to this idea of having the moral strength where maybe my mom or my other classmates, maybe my other classmates liked her too, but because she was being picked on, they were like, yeah, no, not gonna be her friend because I don't want to be picked on. So that is what is meant by moral strength. I believe in this definition. Anyway, getting back to the question at hand, how can I find the strength to come to France for an extended period of time? I'm going to unpack this by asking some questions I would ask if I were in a coaching session with her. And the first question is, well, why? Why has this been a dream of yours for so long? You know, what is it that you're spending an extended amount of time in France will afford you? What will you be able to have, do, experience, or become because of it? And this is not necessarily an easy question to answer. And I would suspect that most of the people who I ask this question to give me a surface level. Oh, well, Paris is beautiful. I want to go to Paris. Paris is beautiful. Okay, well, so why is you being in Paris, a place that you deem as beautiful, so important to you? Well, when I'm in Paris, I feel lighter. Okay, well, so why is it that when you're in Paris, that you feel lighter? Why is feeling lighter so important to you? Well, when I feel lighter, I feel like I'm able to be myself. And when I'm able to be myself, I show up in a way that feels good to me, but also where I am more willing to help others be themselves. And why is that so important to you? Because when I am able to be myself and help others be themselves, I feel like I'm in my purpose. Boom. We have dug down to a deeper why Paris and being in Paris is the thing that has been a dream for her for so long. So if we stood at just, oh, Paris is a beautiful city, well, there are other beautiful cities, but what is it about Paris? And what does Paris afford you that you can't get anyplace else? And so when you get to that why, then, and that deeper why, that purpose why, then that starts to make these other things start to pale in comparison. The fears, the self-doubts, the uncertainties, because you're like, oh yeah, wow. Why would I let these fears hold me back? But now you've got your why. The second question that I would ask is, well, what are the things that are keeping you from just doing this? It sounds amazing, your purpose and your why. What are the things that are keeping you from doing this? What are the things that cause you not to venture or persevere or withstand the danger, difficulty, or fear that you perceive in doing this thing. And then the person that I'm coaching would, tell me, well, I'm afraid I will run out of money, or I'm afraid that I'll get there and I won't like it. It won't be what I expected. Or I'm afraid that when I'm there, I will lose touch with my family and friends back home, and they mean the world to me. And here we're starting to get to some things that are at the heart of them not being able to move through their fears, their doubts, their uncertainties. And so they're being aware of those things is powerful, because then you can do something about them. So you know your why now, your deeper why. You know the things that are causing you this consternation and churn of wanting to do this thing, but being unable to do it because of lack of courage. So then the next question I would ask the person I was coaching is, okay, so how much longer are you willing to not have this kind of life? What if this never was your experience? What would that mean for your life? And they would answer the question one of two ways. And I'll give you an example. I'll give you the example later. So they'll answer in one of two ways. And the first way is, I'm not willing to not have this be my experience, or I needed to be there yesterday. In which case their why and the solution for the why is in alignment. And sometimes people will answer in a way that I don't anticipate. For example, I was on a discovery call with a woman who said that she wanted to live in France 3 months and then go back to the United States, pick up some shifts. She was an emergency room doctor, make some more money, and then 3 months after that, come back to France. So she wanted to live in France 6 months of the year. And we went through this exercise, and when I asked her the question, well, so what happens if you aren't able to do this, or you don't do this 3 months in France, 3 months in the US? And she stopped and she thought for several seconds, longer than most people give themselves to think. And she said, oh, well, then I would just retire and I would do things that light me up. I would start painting again, and I would do other things that made me feel good. And there was no, oh, well, if I'm not in France, that would mean this or that. There was really no tie to this life in France. And I unpacked that a little bit more, and I recognized that sometimes people see other people experiencing the kind of life they want to experience. Maybe it's a more creative lifestyle, and they see people living in France becoming more creative, and they equate that to, well, that's what I need to do. I need to get to France so I can be creative. When the thing is, you need to retire and do your hobbies. Now, this woman is an emergency room physician, and she has been doing it for a while. She's a Black woman in a field that doesn't have a lot of Black people, and it's been really hard for her. And she's worked hard, and she's earned a lot, and she's saved a lot. And we talked about this a little bit more about, okay, well, could you retire? And she's like, I think so. I have an appointment with my financial planner to look at the numbers, but I think I could. And there we go, right? So she did find out that she could. And the problem that was holding her back from just doing that thing was retiring scared her. Stopping work completely scared her. And she wanted the lead up to retirement, as well as the day she retired and beyond, to be a joyful experience. Not one filled with, oh, can I do this? Is this the right time? Will I have enough money? All of that. All of those things that could cloud that journey to the next chapter of her life, right? And so her why was not strong enough to have that life in France. Her why was a different why, in fact. Okay. So I would ask this question, what would not having this experience that you are telling me is so important to you mean for your life if you never experienced it? And if the answer is that's not an option, okay, then we got to go a little bit further and figure out how to move through the blocks and the fears and the doubts to having the mental and moral strength to do the thing that you want to do. Okay. And that is where this question gets a little bit trickier because, as I mentioned earlier, that mental peace is something that we have probably been telling ourselves for years about how we can't do certain things because, well, it's just not the way things are done. Everybody knows that you don't retire until you're 65, or maybe now it's even 67. And then that's when you live the life that you want. Our thoughts and our belief patterns bump up against our moral strength, right? Well, I don't want to be that odd person who does the thing that nobody else does, or maybe do this odd thing and maybe fail, right? And so we've got these tracks in our mind that we've got to reprogram. And so my answer to my viewer is ask yourself these questions. And if you get to a place where it's not an option for you to not spend an extended amount of time in France, that it speaks to your purpose, then the next steps are to look at those fears that you have, those doubts, the difficulties you think that you will face, the dangers that you think that you might have to withstand, and choose the one that is the most powerful over you and start to combat that. What are you telling yourself about this extended stay in France? And how can you shift that, reframe that to something else? So maybe you're telling yourself, what if I fail? And that gives you feelings of dread, which makes you just ruminate that you can't do this thing. Maybe you don't have the courage to do this thing, which causes you to just watch YouTube videos and get more discouraged. And you could reprogram that to say, instead of what if I fail, what if this works? And see if that's the thing that kind of shifts your energy and makes you feel excited about it. And when you feel excited, then you start to say, okay, well, what is the first thing I need to do to figure out an extended stay? Well, what does extended mean to me? And you start to put a plan in place. Well, I want to be in France for 3 months, right? And you start making plans and moving forward and getting unstuck, because action is a big cure for having a lack of courage, because you're not in your thoughts anymore. You're doing. Okay. And it's not something that is one and done. It's not like, oh, what if I fail? And then you tell yourself, oh, what if this works? It's something that you have to keep coming back to each time you hear yourself telling yourself that, or whatever it is that you're telling yourself. You come back to that reframe of what if it works, that thing that excites you, the thing that empowers you, the thing that gets you into action so that you can take steps to make it happen. And it's not an easy process. And sometimes it takes a while. And sometimes it's hard to do on your own. So if you still have this dream to live in France for an extended period of time, maybe it's a 3-month stay, maybe it's a 6-month stay, to see if it's something you might want to do even longer term, then we can have a conversation to really go through this process. I can ask you the questions, you can answer them, and we can go down the path that we need to go down, versus my kind of giving you this, oh, well, if you answered this, then this is what I would say, right? We can really make this personalized. And this goes to not only the viewer who wrote this email to me, but to you. If you are grappling with this decision to make a move to France or some other foreign country, and you feel like, if only I had the courage to do this thing, then I would love to have a conversation to unpack these steps with you and go further, go deeper with you to understand what your next steps are in your process so that you can experience that deeper why that you deserve to experience. So I'm going to put a link to my calendar in the description where you can schedule a discovery call where you and I can talk through these things, why it is you want to go there, what things are holding you back, what it would mean for your life if you did not make this move. And then we can decide, what your next steps are and if that includes working with me as your coach. I so look forward to the conversation. Now, hopefully this different kind of video helped you. What other questions do you have for me that you might like for me to unpack in this way? Let me know in the comments and I will see what I can do. All right, hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up, share it with friends, subscribe, and I will see you again next time. Bye for now.